three big changes in logistics happening right now. The higher inventory, the rise of nearshoring, and of course the e-commerce. What is happening in there? Can you dive into these three a little bit?
Yeah, so if you talk about the higher inventory, now you all have experienced the whole COVID pandemic. And during that pandemic, obviously China closed down. So we had some delivery problems, or our customers had. And you have also the latest example, you know, the Ever Given that actually blocked the Suez Canal. All these events actually started to realize, our customers started to realize that now it's better to make sure that you have some inventory. Normally, and you learned it like way back at school as well, you know, you always have to do like just in case. So you have to lower your inventory, and you have to make sure that you optimize the stream from factory to end customer. But now they actually realize that, okay, if something is like blocking that supply chain, then you have to make sure that you can cover that period. So people are actually stacking up a stock in warehouses more and more. And the other one that you mentioned, the rise of nearshoring, is kind of the same in that. You've read about it. People are actually, or companies are actually wanting that organizations start to produce in Europe and not in China or India or far away. If you produce in the area and close by, then it's more easy to get to, and you don't have the problems that you also have in the previous example. Now, in the last one, Wouter, e-commerce.
Yeah, before we dive into that one, I have a short question to you, because you now also have like these big events that you mentioned, like the pandemic and the Suez Canal. But we have, you feel a little bit like we have also like a material issue right now, because where do we get all those materials from? It seems like it's getting ages to get all your stuff into these warehouses, probably to get them delivered. How do you see that?
Now, it's all because of the fact that we rely on the Far East countries, and they produce almost everything for us. So if something is actually lacking, if you know the global supply chain is not working anymore, then you have these kind of issues. And what I also know is that delivering goods from China has not been 100% live again. Because of China just decides that not all boats should go into the float again. I don't know what kind of decision that is, but it actually gives us less place, less availability to actually move goods from China to Europe, and that will actually cause the delay.
Yeah.
So it's all about logistics in that sense. You know, some boats are still in China and we need to have them in Europe, and some boats are in Europe and we need to have them in China. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's a difficult logistic game.
Yeah, it is. And what I wanted to say about e-commerce, Wouter, that one is quite obvious, right? I bet that you have ordered 10 times more goods the last year online than you did like years before that. So, and I also bet that your parents suddenly are starting to order online as well.
Yeah, so, definitely.
So that's a big move.
Even my kids are Googling. So
more cardboard boxes than we can deal with these days in the house. Yeah.
No, that is funny. I about Google. I asked my son who he thought would be older, Google or myself, and he said, "Yeah, Google, obviously."
Cool.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
All right, but that was about e-commerce, Wouter. So that one is very clear, actually.
And I don't know, maybe you answered this question, but we were thinking about how come logistics is the key element to revenue and cost reduction, and how can Prologis help reduce these costs?
So with logistics, I guess you mean transportation. So transport, so moving goods from A to B, for our customers is the biggest chunk of cost they have. So that's in about like 45% of what they spend. Think of the rent that they spend is in about 5% of the total cost, labor in about 30%, and then the inventory is in about 20%. So our customers are focused on optimizing that transportation part because, yeah, you can do the math, right? If you save 1% on these 45%, that's better than fighting for a little bit of lower rent. So we as landlords are trying to help them with that as well. So we're trying to make sure that, you know, our properties are kind of optimized for them to use as well. So make sure that the access control of our warehouses are fully automated, that the trucks that are coming in don't need to wait, that the trucks know where to go to which dock, so that the unloading and the loading process goes as fast as possible. Because for our customers, if a truck stands still too long, that's a money drain. You have to think, you know, the average of with our fast-moving customers, the average that a truck needs to, the max that a truck can stand still is like 30 minutes.
Wow.
So you have to come in, you have to park, you have to unload, you have to load, and you have to move again. That is the most optimum way, and that is actually their kind of rule. So, and we're just trying to make sure that our warehouse, you know, is efficient enough and is not slowing them down in any way.
And are we headed towards kind of the same experience that we're seeing in certain parts of the world, like the US, where we order something and at least, you know, the next day we get it, or maybe they're talking about even the same day we get it?
Yeah, 100%. That is very close to what we call the last mile delivery. So what we're actually trying to do is get as close as possible to our end customers, because otherwise, we cannot facilitate our customers, and they definitely want to do same day delivery. Now, actually, they don't want to do same day delivery, but it's expected by all of us. And probably in the future, it will be even smarter, right? The Amazons of this world probably can predict that you, Wouter, need this like white shirt like every 3 months. So they probably
because I work in real estate.
Exactly. You know,
Blue suit is wearing out. You need a new blue suit.
No, but they probably know that every, I don't know, like say 2 or 3 months, you probably need this shirt. So they'll send you the shirt and just send it back if you don't need it.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be amazing. So what else can you tell about the future of logistics and the customer focus Prologis has?
So we're trying to listen as much as possible to our customers, obviously. Customer expectations, customer experience is extremely important. And we're actually trying to, normally you had just this landlord and customer relationship. And actually we're trying to, let's say, marry up a little bit and work together in order to make our product as efficient as possible. So we have a lot of customer advisory boards, so we discuss a lot with our customers. We have on different levels, touch points with our customers. So I'm also discussing with our customers what they're doing around innovation. And we're also trying to do shared experiments. So we can do it in one of our warehouses, we can do it in Prologis labs, but you know, we can learn from that and they can learn from that, because everything that our customer is doing in our warehouse probably has impact on the way we build our new warehouses. So we have to make sure that our warehouses are just this one step ahead so that we can cover all the needs, all the future needs of our customers.
Yeah, so which changes happened at a landlord like Prologis?
Obviously, we're probably going to talk later about that, but the demand for data, for information, so warehouse utilization information. Yeah. Now, every piece of equipment in the warehouse needs to be connected. But one other thing is obviously the electricity requirements in the buildings. That has like hugely increased. So it's not efficient anymore to have like one little electricity pipe going into the warehouse because they need to charge their forklifts. They have EV charging, so all kinds of different needs around electricity, and that has a really big impact on our warehouses. And then lastly, also have all the well-being requirements. Now, let's say a warehouse normally is not the nicest place to work. There are very old, very dark warehouses where people hardly want to work. We kind of make sure that we make them light, we make it a nice place to live, and we most of the times get also well-being certifications, so that we, improve the quality for the people that are working in the warehouse, and that is more and more important for our customers.
Yeah, I can imagine. And those customers, they are also going to demand more and more extra services from Prologis. What kind of questions do you see?
Yeah, they have different requirements, but yeah, do they have the demand, or do we offer it? We always try to be one step ahead of our customers, so we hope that we can offer it before they ask for it.
So do you see things happening in the data that you collect or something like that, which you just mentioned before?
Yeah, 100%. So what we're doing is, and I think I told this before, we're putting in this backend infrastructure in the warehouse, because normally what a customer did is a customer got the key, when they rent a warehouse, and then they have to spend at least 2-3 months to do the backend environment, so put in fiber and Wi-Fi access points and all that in the warehouse. And we're trying to do that during build already for our customers, so that if a customer is interested in that location, a customer doesn't need to take, this whole 3 months to actually put these things in, but they only need to take like a month to get going. And we're trying to do that on all kinds of levels. So we're also offering racks for the customers. And because of our scale, we can buy these quite cheap, right? So we can deliver that in a very good way to our customers. And we do the same with, for example, forklifts. So we're trying to offer this whole package for our customers, so that they don't need to do the capital investment for that. And they don't need to spend that much time before they actually can go into operations. Because every month not in operation is extremely expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And what's changing with the electric truck coming in?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So is the electric truck of the future? That is actually the question. There's now the discussion of, is it going to be hydrogen? Because long-haul trucks can also be, quite efficient on hydrogen. The electricity trucks cannot go that far yet and are really heavy. But yes, if the electric truck is going to be the future, then it has a huge impact on our energy demand in the warehouses, because then probably we're expected to have chargers at every dock station. And we have to be capable of charging, 20 Tesla trucks in once.
Wow. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, I don't have the answer for that yet.
And they also need to be those need to be filled up in half an hour, because they are only standing still for half an hour.
Yeah, so that doesn't work. So probably we have parks, obviously. So probably you should have some kind of truck charging place somewhere on the park, where they can actually put their truck and wait an hour or so until the truck is charged again, and then go back on the road. So we have to see how that works out. But I think it's more likely the latter, so that we have this parking kind of charging places, and not on the warehouse itself.
But you are not really responsible for this, because this is like the people that do the transportation. They are responsible on which kind of trucks they buy and which kind of trucks they use.
100%.
Do you feel also that responsibility to work together on them to find solutions for these kind of questions?
Yes, definitely. So you want to facilitate them, right? Because if they come, your warehouse should be an attractive place. So, and what makes your warehouse better than your competitors? That is making sure that you have these kind of facilities, so that they don't need to spend much time to actually drive to another place to charge the trucks.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to figure out. But it's people don't know what it's going to be anyway. So I kind of like hydrogen, but it has to be way more optimized than it is now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll
All
see.
right. Do you have any calls to action that you'd like to give to, yeah, I mean, this is a huge industry. It doesn't have to be within your space.
No, so yes, so let's, yeah, I think the most important thing for our business is going to be data, and the people that have data will actually, will be able to facilitate their customers the best way. About you have been in Waalwijk.
Yeah.
It is now, that was my first like real smart building, and we're extracting now, I don't know, like 700,000 data points per day for already a year. And now slowly I can actually start to make something out of that data. And and a good example is by combining the activity data, so motion that you see in the warehouse, with energy data, so everything that a sensor is picking up. You can actually already determine the utilization or the increase or the decrease of utilization / activity in that warehouse. Now that is yeah, okay, for one building that is okay, but what if you can actually do that in multiple buildings, and what if you then can actually start to benchmark with other regions, other buildings, you know, with other buildings from our customers. So then slowly we're starting to get into the interesting part of utilizing data and creating value for our customers. So that is what I'll be working on the next at least year.
So how many buildings do you need for that to really get those insights?
Yeah, we have now 6 smart buildings, so 1 in Europe and 5 in the US, and it's not enough. I need to have at least, as a pilot said, at least 10 buildings. So I think I'm going to roll in about 10 buildings out this year. And then I can prove at the organization that there is value in that data, and then we have to start rolling it out in a bigger scale.
Yeah, cool. Well, those smart buildings are getting more and more important. So what should a smart building look like? Is it like what you have behind you?
Yes, but my experience the last year is that it's very difficult in an organization to actually get a whole, like an entire huge smart building realized. And my advice to people, if they want to start with smart building, is just start small. You know, take this one use case, prove the value, and then go into another use case, et cetera, and then slowly you automatically have your smart building. So I would say to people, you know, don't start too big, don't like boil the ocean, but make sure that you have like a little piece that you can actually prove, so that the organization can follow you as well.
Yeah, what have you seen in the last couple of years? Because you're working in this industry of in this smart building stuff and data stuff for 7 years already, or even more.
Yeah.
What have you seen changing?
No, what I've seen and what I've experienced is that you have to make sure that you keep on being vendor independent, and that you actually don't get lost in like the vertical solutions, and that you have to make sure that you have your own model straight, and that you have designed your backbone the right way, so that it is quite easy to actually deploy sensors.
But how do you do that? Because, well, it sounds easy, but we're all these white shirts, and we are in real estate and putting bricks together. We're not into the bytes and the. So how do we do that?
So think of I think the best example is think of a lasagna, Sander. A lasagna is built in different layers, right? So what you have to do in your organization is determine which layer should contain what. Meaning the down layer is the sensors. The second layer is how do you say, the interpretation of the sensors, and then the third layer is the data lake, and then you actually end up in the last layer, or that's the cheese on the lasagna, and that is the visualization of the data. If you cut your infrastructure or your architecture in that way, then you have quite, how do you say it, consumable parts that you can actually start to build, and you have to start in the middle. The sensors are just devices, are just things that are zeros and ones and are extremely not important. the middle piece of the lasagna is the most important here. So start with building your data lake and start making sure that you can easily interpret the data without relying on a vendor.
Yeah, well, I think that is a really nice advice to lots of real estate players that really are going to push forward, because there is a lot of happening in the space, I guess.
Yeah.
No, and that's true. And you know, yeah, it's kind of funny to say, but you know, all the IoT solutions, or many of the IoT solutions, are sold by the dashboard they have. And yeah, the dashboard, it's only the cheese on the lasagna, Wouter.
Yeah, it's about what is in the lasagna.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, that's very wise for someone younger than Google. I think that's.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, Robbert, thank you very much for your insights in the future of logistics. That was really amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome. Yeah, you guys, good luck with the rest. I think it's a successful 3 days, right?
Yeah, it is. And if
it's
you're
been
opening
great.
another smart building, just invite us, because we really want to take a look at it.
Absolutely.
Well, 100%. We still need to take our car in, eh? And have a drive.
That's it, that's it. Okay.
All right.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
guys.
day. See you
Bye
soon.
bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.